Hello, Kelly here, Animal Instinct. Welcome back to my channel. Back for another cross-stitching update today on the 1st of November 2020. We're almost there. You can find me on Instagram at Animal Stitches, although I haven't posted too much lately. I need to get back to that. I have another just regular update today. I hope you're all doing really well. I've had a good few weeks since I last saw you. And yeah, I've got a bit of all sorts to go through. So I've got, you know, the standard whips, and I think I've got a couple of new starts, a little finish. I've also got some pieces that I found at my mum's yesterday in a box. Not all necessarily mine, but I do have some big finishes and some unfinished items that won't be finished. So I'll just intersperse them throughout the video. So I'll just start with a couple of things. I was at my mum's yesterday. We were having a bit of a quilting bee together. The thing that we're working on is way beyond my skill level. So mum's a good teacher though, so she's doing a good job. I'll pop a photo in of what we were working on. But it was foundation paper piecing, which I have never done before in my life. It was a lot of work. But in the box that I found was all sorts of goodies. This was one of them. So mum is a quilter really from way back. I don't know if she made this or if she bought this, but it'll be from the early 90s, maybe even the 80s. Who knows? It's just a little pouch and it was stuffed full of DMC, so that's a nice little surprise. It's all the 90s colours of DMC, you know, like the greens, and there's some like that 640, and what's this one, 3350. All of those good colours. Oh, there's some classic as well. What's that? 224. And also in here is this cute little, I guess it's a needle book. You open it with some Velcro, and there's a couple of old needles in there. But how neat's that? I reckon I can pop that into a project bag and get some use out of that. And then a couple of patterns. If you can hear noise, I've got Reggie out today, so my little kitten is out playing with a ball of paper at the moment, but he's not bothering us yet, so we'll see how that goes. Pretty sure Mum bought this pattern in America a while ago now, so it's Oberlin Samplers and it's the Boston sampler. I've already stitched the New York version, and my dad is a mad Red Sox fan, so I think I probably should stitch that one too for them. And then we've got Cross-Eyed Cricket Quilting Bee Hearts, this one. And we're pretty sure Mum started this one, and I came in and tried to finish it for her, and it is so close to being finished, it's ridiculous. I think it's 14 count Ada. And basically there's even some old thread. Who knows how many decades that's been in there for. This heart just still needs maybe 5 stitches completed. This one needs those blank ones completed, and that's got literally 4 stitches. And it needs a little bit of tidying up on the back too. It's even got an old rusty needle mark on there. But I mean, I couldn't do that for Mum, definitely. Okay, so let's move into my whips that I've been working on since I saw you last. Oh, actually, no. I'd like to do a couple of shout outs, actually. Got my trusty notes here. I would like to say a big thank you to Laura of Laura X Stitches. She gave me a really, really kind shout out on her last video. Thank you, Laura. We met at the Mittagong retreat last year, and we should have met again in person. Oh, when was it? Gosh, whenever the Vic Stitches retreat was supposed to happen, May, June-ish, I think, which was unfortunately cancelled. But hopefully we can get all of that happening again maybe next year. But thank you, Laura. If you haven't seen Laura, you need to go watch her videos because she does lots of great work. I've been brought the paper for Reggie, so hopefully that'll occupy him for a bit longer. And also I'd like to mention Morgan. She's Honeybee Stitcher, also on Flosstube and Instagram. And she's fairly new to Flosstube. I think she has 3 videos out. She's also in Victoria, but in Melbourne. And she's actually working on my bee, not my bee, the bee pattern that I finished. I'll claim it as mine. So if you want to see the bee, if you've had bee withdrawals, go check out Morgan at Honeybee Stitcher. But you'll need to be quick because she is, I think she's over 90% done. So it's looking amazing. So I'm looking forward to seeing that finish, Morgan. So now we'll move on to whips. Just been brought the paper again. This could work. I don't know if the noise is annoying, but we'll give it a go. Okay, so I haven't worked on too many whips since I last filmed. I've kind of been obsessed with one piece, but I'll show that at the end, I think. But first up is Stitching Mummy's Temperature Tree. I usually show this every time, but every leaf represents the maximum the maximum temperature in Adelaide that day of the year, and we're up to October now. I think I've got 3 days left to go in October, but you can see there's a little bit of yellow creeping in. That was 32 degrees Celsius the other day, but it's gotten cooler again. So always say, really enjoy doing this. If I get a few weeks behind, it really doesn't take long to catch up at all. Highly recommend it. You can get the chart on Stitching Mummy's Etsy store. And Sarah's also got some other temperature themed patterns as well as other things as well. And I also enjoy watching her videos. Okay, next up. Oh, I had a new start. It's kind of completely unplanned. I don't know why I started it, but anyway. Okay, sorry, slight interruption there. Where was I? New start. I think I was going through my Be Well and Stitch patterns that I collected earlier in the year, and I honestly can't really remember. I guess I was seeing people stitch Halloween type things, and I came across this little freebie in my collection, and I just thought, oh, why not? Let's just start it. It's by an Eastern European designer. I put the details into Google Translate, and I'll pop the photo in here of what it will look like, but I believe it's by Tatiana Vittoria. And I've just called it Spooky Bat, but I think the translation just is bat. I'm stitching it on 18 count Aida and the fabric is called Wicked Witch by Jodie Redesigns, and I'm using 2 strands of, sorry, that's correct. I'm using 2 strands of DMC. I did that in 2 stitching sessions, so I should just, put a few more days in and I'll finish that. But I thought that's so cute, the bat and the spider. That was a completely unplanned new start. Next up is my other Be Well and Stitch pattern that I'm working on at the moment. And so I'm doing a collection of small freebie patterns that were released by designers earlier this year. I'm going to make them into a small quilt. And this one, there's sort of no rhyme or reason as to which ones I'm stitching. There's no theme or anything. This one is, I've called it Loo Paper. I don't really know what it's called. It's by Jaeger and Yarn. And it's stitched 2 strands of DMC over 2 on 28 count casual linen in Amatentia by Chromatic Alchemy. Maybe I can just show it. You can read that. And it's an opalescent fabric too. Like, it's pretty out there. I didn't get too much done, but I'm just slowly working on that one when I can. And then I've had a little finish. So I think last video I showed I had started the, what are they called again? Joyful World series by the Sunflower Diaries. And I'd started the September one and thought I could happily, you know, finish one block a month. But then hadn't finished the September one in September after all. But anyway, I have now finished September. Very cute. It's on 18 count Aida. It's Picture This plus Heartland. And I underdyed, 18 or hand dyed, whatever, Aida on 18 count. I find it a tricky count with coverage of stitches. So sometimes 2 strands is too much and 1 strand isn't enough when you're doing full crosses. I think on plain Aida 2 strands is okay, but I sort of started and stopped this one a few times and I ended up using 1 strand and I am happy with the result. You can't really see, there's bugs or something up here in white and a pale yellow. But oh well, they can stay there. And so Deb Wilson, she's on Flosstube too, you need to go check her out. She contacted me and said, hey, I've got that series. Do you want to do a stitch along? So that's going to help me to try and finish one a month. We are catching up next weekend during the 24 hours of cross stitch. And we're going to try and stitch the October one that weekend. And then we should be able, we're going to try and complete one a month after that. So then we'll be stitching the November one in November. So I've got this piece of fabric has enough for 4 of them. I don't have any more of this exact Heartland Aida, but I've got other things that are similar, and this is very much a pull from stash project. The colours, there's a DMC conversion, but I didn't have all the colours, so they're a little bit different, but yeah, happy with that. Okay, and then Seeking Refuge by the Scarlet House. This one came out at the Nashville market this year, and it's very apt for this year. I have put quite a bit of work in since I last filmed. Just bear with me. I'm stitching it on 40 count linen, 1/2, and it's Picture This plus Wren. And this is where I'm up to. So I think last time, gosh, I can't really remember. I know I'd done that part, and I think I'd done some of this and maybe come into this bit. This was pretty intense. This is all basically full coverage strip along there. I've turned this cat into my kitten Reggie, and this one is Jemima. They might even be dogs, I'm not sure, but I'm calling them my cats. I've done a complete colour conversion and I have brightened up some of the colours. So all I've got to go is there's a flower in here. This tree is the same as this one, so it needs its branches. We've got the initials and the text here, the white bit to come across, and then that big house, and that's it. So when I catch up with Deb for the 24 hours of cross stitch, I mean, we're catching up virtually, we live in different states, but we're going to be checking in with each other through the weekend. This is my other piece that I'll work on and see how far I can get. So really, really enjoying that and hoping for a finish soon. Okay, couple of other things that I found at Mum's. This is a Looney Tunes piece on 14 count Ada. Unfinished, so I think, yeah, it's just the back stitching to go. And I don't have the pattern anymore, so I'm not sure if that will ever be finished. That might be a permanent unfinished object. I did also find a Looney Tunes sampler piece, which has got, I think it's got the numbers rather than the letters, but that, I don't think that's been started. Or if it has, it's only a little bit and I've got the full kit. But, and then there's this one. This is a cricket scene. Have a lot of, well, cricket's a big sport in Australia, and my family in particular has a lot of ties to cricket. By Heritage Stitchcraft. It's an English kit or pattern. I think it's just a pattern. And I just noticed there is actually a cricket umpire. Where is he? There. So I reckon I could turn that into my dad. That's what my dad's career was. Now I think from memory, Mum might have made a start on this a very long time ago. And I think I was going to stitch it for her. I mean, are we talking back in the mid-90s, I think? But that's Mum's start. But the fabric is a bit marked. There's even a rusty needle. Do not do that. Yeah. I actually would like to stitch that, but on some fresh fabric. It's, I thought it was a hand-drawn chart, but it is actually a computer-generated chart. So that can just go away for now. It was just fun to find those. Oh, hello Jemima. By the way, this is amazing. Reggie is up on his cat tree up there and he's just snoozing, watching me. So we are making progress with him. He's been a really difficult kitten and continues to be, but he's growing up. So, okay. Next, I have a little bit of haul and I guess some plans. So yeah, let's grab that. Okay, I have my September Silks for You monthly club. I thought last video, I thought I was showing September's, but it was actually August. I'm still waiting for October, but these are the beautiful silks for September. Just very pretty. I received a piece of 32 count linen from XJU Designs. It's in Old Blue. You can see that. I do have plans for this. I won't go into those today. I'm still very much planning, but maybe next time. I'm just being really careful putting things with string away because I have a kitten that desperately wants to eat anything that looks like that. So please bear with me. I got a couple of patterns in the mail from Motifs by Hand on Etsy. I got Kathy Barrick's London Zoo. I do, I guess I do some work with zoo animals for my job. I might not actually put London Zoo in. I might change that, I'm not sure, but I just thought it was a fun piece. Animals, me, perfect. And I also got her HL's moth, which was the first moth piece she put out. Now I know I showed before, I can't remember if it was last time or the time before, I had bought her newer moth piece. I think that's right, BR's moth. And I have this piece of linen that I was going to stitch that one on. Oops. It's also XG design and it's 32 count Belfast in Desert Sand. And I worked out I can actually stitch both moths on the same piece, one on top of the other. So I think that's going to look really, really great. I don't know which way around I'll go yet. So that's all kitted up. I've got all the DMC ready to go. I've really been enjoying working on Seeking Refuge, so I don't really want to start anything too much, but that's probably going to be one of my next new starts. Okay, and I have shown this before too. This is also XG Designs, and it's, oh, I didn't bring it. I think it's green apple. It's 56 count linen, and I was looking for something to stitch on it. And then I saw that Modern Folk Embroidery came out with Ellen Reid's family heirloom, the Zimmerman coverlet. And I saw that, I think I'd seen the pictures on Instagram of the actual coverlet. And then I saw the pattern and I thought, oh, I like that. And then I read the story about the connection to Ellen's family, and also the fact that they were donating money to a really worthy Canadian charity. So I got the pattern, and I think I'm going to stitch, so I'll put the photo in here. The photo on the cover sheet is basically 3 iterations of the pattern, like it's a repeatable pattern. I'm just going to stitch it once, and instead of that way it'll be flipped 90 degrees to fit on here. So just one version of the pattern, and I'll stitch it 1/2, so it'll be the equivalent of stitching 1/1 on 28 count. So they're going to be small little stitches, and I'm going to use, I got some cottage garden threads. This is Blackwood. So I hope it's going to look nice on there. I hope it works on that count of fabric. Fabric, 1 strand. But again, I really want to start it, but I also want to finish Seeking Refuge. So we'll see. Okay, I think that's all my haul. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, whoops, I missed a new start. Oh dear. One of those days. Last video I showed you I had purchased Haid's Contessa and Squid, the mini version by Omar Ryan, and it's much smaller than the original version that was charted. I love that image, but I didn't want to commit to such a huge piece, so I requested the mini. I'm fully aware that you lose about 1/3 of the detail, so I'm a little bit concerned about that. So what I wanted to do was start it in the middle on her face and make sure I'm happy with the level of detail in her face. And if so, then I'll go on to work on the whole piece. Your eyes are drawn to a person's face and their eyes, so I want to make sure I'm happy with the focus there, and it doesn't really matter for the rest of it. So I'm stitching it on 28 count even weave, easy, I always forget, easy guide, easy count. Anyway, the one with the 10 by 10 grids already in the fabric. And I made a start a couple of weekends ago, I think. And I got a fair amount done. Jury's still out on the whole detail issue, but only because I haven't done enough. So, but I think it's actually looking good, and I think I will be able to continue with it. That's what I've done so far. Bring it in a bit. There she is. She looks a bit weird without her mouth or her eyes, so it's a little bit hard to tell, but I do think that that's going to look just really pretty. And I really hope that I can go on to stitch the whole piece. Oh, now Jemima's playing with that ball of paper. Seriously. She never plays with things like that. Anyway. There she is, Contessa. Okay, last few pieces, finishes that I found, and then we'll wrap it up. Firstly, I think this is needlepoint. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I was trying to remember when I stitched this and why. From memory, I think it was, I knew I was having a big surgery and I had about a month of downtime afterwards, and I wanted something to keep me occupied. And I found this kit. It's terribly warped, but anyway, I think it's needlepoint. It's tent stitches in wool. And the fancy teapots. And I just have to show you because I couldn't believe how neat the back is. Look at that. Anyway, so it really needs blocking. I don't know if you can tell how warped it is, but I think that would make a really cute cushion. So to have a look at that. And then finally, sorry, a couple of big full coverage finishes, although maybe they're both on 11 count Aida, so maybe they're not quite as big as they feel. The first one, firstly, I got both of these kits in a shop in Shanghai. Really quick story time, I guess. I was on a big long trip and I was in China trying to work out where I wanted to go next, and decided that Vladivostok sounded like a fun place to go. I had no idea what was in Vladivostok in Russia, but it sounded like it would be fun to say that I'd been there. And I thought, oh, it's just across the border from northeast China. Thought, oh, you can probably go up there and just, you know, there'd be a border crossing or something, but no. You had to get a train through Mongolia and then into Russia and then all the way to the far east of Russia to Vladivostok. So decided, yep, that's what we wanted to do. Went to get Russian visas in Beijing where we were, and I was able to get one, but my partner at the time was not. He is an English citizen and he was refused. So we went to Shanghai. Same thing happened again, although we'd been told that he would be okay. So I'd already put mine in. They'd taken my passport and they were going to keep it for, I think it was a long time to be in a foreign country without your passport. It might have been 2 or 3 weeks, maybe 2 weeks. And then he went up to, you know, put his in and they were like, no, you're a British citizen, you can't get one. So he had to go back to Hong Kong, which is where we'd come from in the first place. Very frustrating. So he went there. He was gone for a couple of weeks, getting his organised in Hong Kong. So I just had a few weeks to spare in Shanghai, and I just wandered around. I did a lot of walking and exploring, and randomly found a cross-stitch kit store. So floor-to-ceiling cross-stitch kits. I hadn't stitched in years, and I knew I had this massive train journey ahead of me. I can't remember how long it took, but the longest stretch we were on that train without getting off was over 50 hours. Anyway, so I thought, perfect, I can get a couple of kits. The first one I didn't stitch on the train. I actually ended up sending home, and I stitched this when I got back to Australia. I was living in Alice Springs, and it is a Chinese village scene. So 11 count Aida, 2 strands of floss. The coverage isn't great, but it's, you know, it's pretty, very pretty. Really should do something with it. The next one is the one that I did stitch on all those train travel trips, and then this one stayed with me for the rest of my travels, which was quite a long time. It's been shoved in a bag on the back of a motorbike all through Southeast Asia. It's been to Vladivostok. It's been everywhere. It is filthy. I need to wash it. I don't think I'm actually going to be able to show the whole thing at once, but it's a Chinese horse, Chinese style horse. If I come back. There we go. It did have Chinese characters on there too, but I never found out what they actually said, so I left them out. But again, look at the coverage is pretty awful with all that black. But this kept me sane for many, many hours on those travels. I had lots of people watching me. I made friends over this piece. It was just brilliant. So that one needs to definitely have a good soaking. There's grime from all over Asia in there. Okay, I think that's everything. So we didn't get too disrupted. Reggie, come here. Come here, good boy. Good boy. Here we go, here's the monster. I'm looking forward to 24 hours of cross stitch next weekend, so I'll be sure to report back in and let you know how I got on, and we'll see you all next time. See ya.